My mom screamed, "Stop, ruining the trip with your sister. Just leave," like I was the problem. After I booked every ticket, every room. So I did quietly. 3 hours later, her card declined at check-in. "Hey Reddit, my name is Danielle. I'm 30, and I've finally learned the difference between being the family helper and being the family doormat. Every family has its roles, right? You've got the favorite, the troublemaker, the quiet one, the responsible one. I was always the planner, the scheduler, the one who knew everyone's birthdays, who sent reminders in the group chat, who knew my mom's prescription refills before she did, the one who could recite my sister's chaotic dating history better than she could. I wore that title like a badge of honor, until I realized being the planner also meant being the emotional dumping ground when things didn't go perfectly. And in my family, things never go perfectly, mostly because of Brittany, my younger sister by 3 years, who has been living in her own delusional princess world since she was 12. Brittany is the kind of girl who causes a scene at Starbucks because the foam on her latte wasn't aesthetic enough. The kind who borrows your clothes, stains them, and then says it's your fault for having cheap fabric. She gets away with everything because she throws tantrums adults somehow find cute. That includes my parents, especially my mom, who has always treated Brittany like some delicate glass figurine. Meanwhile, I was the easy child, the independent one, which in family speak just means the one we'll ignore until we need something. So this trip, it was supposed to be our first real family vacation in years, a 4-day getaway to Lake Tahoe. I had just finished coordinating back-to-back events at work and wanted to do something that felt meaningful, reconnect maybe, try to bond again, fix the growing distance without having to say the hard parts out loud. I offered to plan it, book it, fund it. To be clear, I didn't expect a parade or a thank you plaque, just maybe some appreciation, a single acknowledgement. I should have known better. From the moment we started planning, red flags popped up like weeds. Brittany kept rejecting every airbomb I sent to the group chat. This one's too plain. That one's giving serial killer cabin. One had wood paneling, and she said it looked allergic to Wi-Fi. My mom didn't help. "Why don't you let Brittany pick something she likes? You know she's picky." So I compromised again. I found a beautiful 3-bedroom cabin near the lake. Full kitchen, fireplace, a mountain view. Close enough to town that Brittany could Instagram her outfits, but private enough for some actual peace. I paid for it up front. Also paid for all our dinner reservations, activity passes, and a car rental so no one had to carpool with me, which, by the way, Brittany made a whole thing about. She drives like a DMV instructor. She told my mom, "Too slow, no vibe." I arrived in Tahoe a day early to get things set up. I stocked the kitchen, turned on the heat, and even printed out personalized welcome notes. Yes, I'm that kind of person. I put Brittany's in a glittery envelope because I knew she'd post it if it looked cute enough. They were supposed to arrive by noon the next day. They didn't show up until almost 6:30 p.m. No apologies. No thanks for setting things up. Brittany walked in, looked around, and said, "Did you seriously not get candles? It smells like cabin in here." I blinked. "It is a cabin." She made a gagging noise, tossed her bag on the couch, and started scrolling TikTok. Mom smiled nervously and said, "It's charming, honey. Danielle worked really hard." But the tone was off. I could already tell. Mom's words were hollow, like she was trying to smooth things over before Brittany exploded. By the second morning, Brittany was on a roll. Complained that her room was too small. It wasn't. Said the shower had bad water pressure. It didn't. She wanted to go shopping, even though I had suggested a hike with a beautiful scenic view. Mom took her side every time. "She's just overwhelmed. She's not used to this type of trip. She's not like you, Danielle. You're comfortable with being uncomfortable." That last one stuck with me, like being considerate, patient, and flexible was some sort of flaw. The breaking point came after I had planned a special dinner for night 3. It was a reservation at a stunning lakeside restaurant. I'd called a month in advance to get a table with the best view of the water. I even made sure the menu had vegan options, just for Brittany, even though she flip-flops between vegan, keto, and I'm just detoxing every other week. The plan was to leave at 6:45 p.m. At 6:50, Brittany was still in her room doing makeup. Mom was sipping wine in the living room. Not saying a word, I knocked gently on Brittany's door. "Hey, we really need to leave in the next few minutes." She opened the door with a full eye roll. "Danielle, I told you I'd be ready when I'm ready. Stop micromanaging. We'll lose the table if we're late." "You always do this," she snapped. "Turn everything into a schedule. Maybe if you weren't so uptight, people would actually enjoy being around you." My mouth went dry. I turned to Mom. "Are you hearing this?" Mom stood up and shouted back at me, "Not Brittany, me." Stop ruining the trip with your sister. Just leave. Silence. It was like the air got sucked out of the room. Even Brittany froze. And then, like clockwork, Mom added, "You've had a bad attitude this whole trip. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves." I stared at her stunned. No one said another word. So I nodded, okay, and I walked to my room, packed my bag in under 10 minutes, and left. No slamming, no yelling, no crying, just clarity. What they didn't know or had forgot was that everything was in my name. Every reservation, every dinner, every hotel, even the activity confirmations. Their names weren't even on the Airbnb account. I checked into a cozy inn an hour away and turned my phone on silent. 3 hours later, my phone lit up. 3 missed calls from Mom, 2 from Brittany, and then a string of texts. "Mom, why is my card not working at check-in? They said you removed us from the reservation. Danielle fixed this. Now Brittany, WTF. Are you seriously that petty? We're stranded because of your ego. Grow up." I didn't reply. Instead, I opened a bottle of wine, turned off my phone, and watched the snow fall outside the window of the peaceful, quiet room I booked just for myself. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I woke up the next morning in my quiet little inn, the sun casting golden light across the lake outside my window, the kind of peaceful morning I had desperately hoped this trip would give me. Except now I was alone, and for once, I didn't mind. I reached over, turned my phone off airplane mode, and watched as it lit up like a Christmas tree. 11 missed calls, 15 texts, 4 from Dad, who had stayed radio silent throughout most of this trip until now. 1 from Brittany, complete with 4 screaming emojis, and a voicemail from Mom that was over 3 minutes long. I didn't listen to any of them. Not yet. I brushed my teeth, made a cup of coffee, and stepped outside onto the balcony. For once, I had nothing to plan, no one to please, just me, the snow, and the sound of absolute silence. It was intoxicating, but by 10 a.m., curiosity got the better of me. I opened Brittany's text first. "Big mistake. You're such a selfish B*******. You ruined our vacation because you couldn't handle not being the center of attention. I hope you're proud of yourself. Mom's crying. Dad's mad. And we're locked out of the cabin because your dumb reservation is canceled. Fix this now." Right below that was a follow-up. "Also, did you seriously take the car keys? We have no ride to town. This is abuse." I stared at the screen. Abuse. Really? They had screamed at me, humiliated me, invalidated my efforts. And now that the trip had crumbled without me as the glue, suddenly I was the villain. I sipped my coffee, shaking my head, and played Mom's voicemail. She was trying to sound calm at first, but the desperation bled through. "Danielle, honey, I think we need to talk. Things got a little heated yesterday, but this is going too far. We can't get back into the cabin. Your father and I are trying to reach the property manager, but they're saying the booking was canceled. We've been sitting in the car for hours. Brittany's cold. This isn't okay." Pause. "You're better than this." Ah, there it was. The backhanded manipulation dressed up as a compliment, the kind of line that used to reel me back in. Not this time. By noon, I got another text from Dad. Just 5 words, "Call me now. Emergency." I didn't. Instead, I drove into town, grabbed brunch, and treated myself to a massage. If they wanted to guilt me into coming back, they'd have to try a lot harder than that. But of course they did. That night, Brittany's social media exploded. A vague Instagram story, a crying selfie with the caption, "Some people have no loyalty. Imagine ruining your family's trip out of spite. Pray form." A tweet saying, "Mental health matters. Never let toxic people ruin your healing journey." And then the cherry on top. She Venmo requested me $478. Labeled, "Reimbursement for canceled vacation plus trauma." I laughed. I couldn't help it. I laughed so hard, I almost choked on my wine. This wasn't just petty, it was pathetic. 2 days later, I drove back home. I didn't tell them, didn't respond, just returned the rental car, and left the keys in the Dropbox. Later that night, my phone finally rang again. Not from any of them, but from the Airbnb host. "Hi, Danielle, I just wanted to let you know, I had to block the other guests from trying to re-enter. They called and gave me your name, but they weren't listed as co-guests. One of them got pretty aggressive on the phone. I thought you should know." I thanked her and apologized. She was understanding. Apparently, she'd seen worse. She also told me that my family had tried to rebook using Mom's card, but it had been declined twice. I asked her to block them from ever using the property again. She agreed. By the time I got home, I had made a decision. I typed out a group message. "I want to be clear. I planned this trip to reconnect, not to be shouted at and disrespected. I paid for every detail, managed every moment, and was treated like an afterthought the second we arrived. You don't get to humiliate me, and then demand my help. I'm done being the family assistant. Going forward, if you want me in your lives, show me the same respect I've always given you. And then, I muted the thread. Not blocked, just muted, for once. They could scream into a void. I went to bed that night not with bitterness, but peace. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. Done shrinking myself to fit into a family that only valued me when I was useful. A few weeks later, I got a handwritten card in the mail from Dad. Just a simple, "I'm sorry, I didn't know how bad it had got. I hope we can talk." I didn't respond right away. Healing, it turns out, doesn't come in a single weekend. But it starts with a decision. And I had made mine. Sometimes, walking away isn't dramatic. It's just quiet, peaceful, final. I used to think family meant putting up with everything, even the pain, just to keep the bond alive. But now I know. Real family doesn't make you earn your place at the table. They notice when you're gone. And when they do, that's when the real change begins.